Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. Today is back into our PBEM challenge with the devilish Mr. Lodrick, and it is now March 9th. Man, how the time flies. March 9th and March 10th, 1942. It's going to be the combat resolution here. We will see both days, and what are we going to be looking for? Well, really it all is about Port Moresby right now. Lodrick has really focused on that Port Moresby area for good reason. I don't dare criticize him. He's done really very well in this game. I would say, if anything, maybe he's overly focused on Port Moresby to the detriment of allowing us to get a lot of men and material into Nomaya, Suva, Pago Pago, and places. He could have potentially kept pressuring down there. We did have the disaster at Suva at one point when we were trying to get troops there, but then he seemed to kind of just forget about it a little bit and go after Moresby. He then didn't bring enough troops across the island, and he couldn't take it for quite some time. He's had to come around and bombard it a few times, and it slowed him down a lot. And now we've got we've got numerous American regiments that have landed in Australia. It's going to make that a very, very tough nut to crack for him. So, anyway, let's jump out onto the board. Let's see what happened. It's March 9th, March 10th, 1942. If I can type. There we go. Okay, now we go. We center up over the home islands of Japan. Doo doo doo. As usual, we'll see the bombing in China. I'm still looking around for his second carrier task force. As far as we know, it has not moved back past Sumatra for a second run at Colombo or Bombay or someplace like that. Maybe we'll see it this time. I don't know. We haven't seen it in a while. I don't know if it returned all the way to Japan, but he's got his one carrier task force, major carrier task force, is over by Port Moresby. All right, here's a Dutch sub. It looks like they probably found us with some anti-sub work, and you can see we potentially took some hits. No, these are APDs. These are destroyers that also act as troop transports. The AP gives that away. The D gives away the destroyer. He's got three of those out here, and so kind of lucky we probably didn't get hit there. It was an ASW attack, so he found us. All right, there is an enemy task force in the area, right up here by Port Hedland. Now, we had some damaged ships in here. I had brought them in. I was trying to get them into Port Hedland. Doesn't look like they're going to make it, and we're going to lose four one-point ships here. He has got, what has he got here? Two light cruisers and six destroyers. Okay. I guess the banker. We did have a destroyer with this group. Okay, so we had one destroyer here. It got sunk. The Kwang Tung didn't get hit at all. The Spora is on fire, and then we have heavy fires and heavy damage here. So we captured it. Now, look, I'm taking that as a calculated risk because I'm trying to get some supply to Darwin. He's here now. You can see him here at Babar. He's almost to Darwin. We've got to get supply up there. We can't allow him to starve us out there. And so, look, we lose a 6-point destroyer and we lose a 1-point cargo. Okay, we'll just have to live with that. Okay, here's a Japanese sub. He hit a destroyer of ours. Are we going to hit him back? Um, Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now that peeves me. We found him an ASW attack near Wellington, so he's got subs out in this area. We had two destroyers here, exactly what you want, and we got hit by a torpedo, even though we found him. He launched six torpedoes at us. Well, I'll be darned. Okay, well, it's got heavy damage. We'll see if it eventually sinks. Maybe it'll be able to limp back to Auckland. Auckland's a level 6 port, so if we can get it back there, it can repair kind of quickly. We had a pump failure. That was very detailed. One of our ships that was in that surface combat out there had a pump failure, major flooding, and they abandoned the Prominent, the AKL Prominent. Looks like the captain went down with the ship. Now, is he going to actually sink this damn destroyer? Uh, Torpedo hits one heavy damage, so we launched on that again. And yeah, we ended up losing a destroyer. Man, oh man, that really pisses me off. We have some destroyers that find a sub. That really should be to our advantage. We've now lost two destroyers this turn. That is not what I was expecting, especially since we haven't run into. It's not like we've run into his carrier task forces out here. I shouldn't say that so soon. The tuna. Now we'll see the other end of it, right? We've got our submarine, the tuna, is after this destroyer, or he's after us. He's got a destroyer, two battleships. He's got actually what I'm sorry, six destroyers, two battleships, an APE, which is a troop transport, an AK, a cargo transport. The tuna got hit 6 times. Well, he didn't sink. Man, this has been a bad start to this turn for us. Getting ripped off. Well, no, I can't say that. We don't have the best destroyers at the start of the game. I think we have like a 2 anti-sub ability. We're spotting some ships. We said we did near Colombo anyway. Submarines out near Auckland. Very important. We know we find this other Japanese carrier group. I do think it. I mean, it would come back to Singapore, I would imagine. We're saying we hit an AK there. I don't know if that's true or not, but we reported that we did. Sometimes in these you'll see, and you can see it right down here, the AK Sagamore is reported hit. Now that's on a naval search is when you'll see those. When you've done a naval search, it's telling us we did hit an AK out there. I hope that's true. All right, three Tojos over the top of Wu Chao as he looks around to see if we have now brought in any cap. Five Oscars over the top, nothing doing. 25 Sallies want to bomb this group east of Yan'an. They cause 8 casualties on the ground. He has not been bombing Rangoon lately, which is interesting. We've really repaired everything there now. Sonya's 1 damaged. We took 57 casualties on the ground. Oh, okay. These are B-25 Mitchells that I had in Palembang. I had them on a naval attack, and it looks like they're trying to get to those ships in Singapore Harbor. Let's hit something. God, that'd be amazing. I don't think we did. Let's see. We had one B-25 destroyed, 1 damage. I had one squadron of these that I moved up just to try to get a lucky hit on something. We sent 3 of them out. We ran into zeros, unfortunately. One destroyed, 1 damaged. We had an AK in our sights, a cargo ship, but we get no joy there. All right, these are all of our sightings. These are our troop sighting. Okay, the Silversides, the SS Silversides, we're trying to get that back to Townsville. It's got flotation problems. You can see there was a sub up by Midway. We're spotting ships, and you can see he's got a caravan coming across here to Semarang. Okay, these are I would imagine, off of his carriers. Now he could, well, that I'm not sure he'd be running nil. I just don't remember. I'm gonna have to look up the Japanese aircraft that would run off their carriers. These could just be coming out of Rabaul. Certainly, he could have things in Rabaul now. They bomb our troops trying to get across. They got kicked out of Leh. Now they're trying to get over to this base. 70 casualties reported there. All right, more sightings. I know sometimes these flash by really quickly, but you can just kind of get a sense, if you look where it is on those sightings, kind of get a sense. These are all aircraft sightings, of course. They're going to be, for the most part, in our territory. 20 Bettys coming in and bombing this poor group that's trying to get across the island. What a hike that would have been. Up and over the mountains of Papua, I mean, through, I assume, rainforest on either side of the peaks. 20 Bettys in, we damage one of them. We take 26 casualties on the ground. All right, Dutch sub. He has got a destroyer minesweeper that found us, but nobody takes any damage there. A lot of sub play this time around. The SS Gar out here right by Port Moresby, but of course his destroyer found us. This is the same big task force that he's got coming over to Moresby. The Gar launches 4 torpedoes at a destroyer. We don't hit, unlike what he did down near New Zealand. Said Zoo England, New Zealand. Now the Grayling has run into a destroyer as well. It looks like the Grayling took some heavy damage. We don't hit anything. The Grayling takes 11 hits, heavy damage. Let's hope that doesn't sink and can get back to Sydney. The CL Durban's taken extensive flooding. We're trying to get that back to Aden. Let's hope that doesn't go down. That's actually worth some real points. I thought we could. I was taking that up and out of Bombay after the disaster at Bombay, and let's hope we can make it. Um, okay, the Japanese 124th Infantry Regiment attacking just to the south of this is what Prebomle? I don't know. Even I've never even heard of that town. I guess I should have. It's the base just south of Palembang, southwest. He's coming for Palembang, of course he is. Now he's got a very strong force that's out here as he's trying to push up this road towards Hami. We've talked about this in the past. This is dangerous for us because it knocks a lot of our um, we're retreating towards Ansi, which is here. Uh, supply, I mean, there could be supply heading down these roads, and he's choking that off. All right, he's attacking Moresby. He may just be able to get it this time. Did he? No. But the levels, you can see the adjusted levels 351 to 163. When they adjust, that's the raw levels. Then you can see the adjustment out 176 to 49. We have a fort level 2, but he's reduced it to 0 now. It's just a matter of time now. He loses 1,100 troops. We lose 663. I mean, bully for us. I mean, 2-to-1 losses essentially, but it's not going to matter. He's now going to take that next turn. He's also looking to take Monado, and he does take Monado. He's now kicked this unit out of that base. They just surrendered. They said, we've had enough. The Japanese take 737 in casualties. We take 2383 with the surrender. Oh, okay. He's over at on what is that, Panay? He's over on this island in the Philippines. We actually have a fairly strong force there. Oh, that was Ilio. Okay, that was at Ilio. We had a fairly strong force there, but they're starving. Once we adjusted it, see the raw values, we actually had quite a few men there. But once you adjusted that, 75 to 22, they capture Ilio. He only takes 32 casualties. We take 954. Ouch. Okay, he's going to take this little base. Kalayan. Okay, he takes Kalayan. Now then, we've got a base force here. This is at Kalajati. He's doing a deliberate attack. We only have this base force. That base force is not going to last. Kalachi surrenders. The base force does. And unfortunately, we're going to lose these. I should have moved these FK-51s. There were 9 still on the ground there. We take 714 casualties when they get kicked out of there. Now he's moving back here to Malang. Oh, this is Mattawan, I should say. We don't have anything at Mattawan, so he's going to take that base. He's making good progress this time around, and he's about to take Moresby. All right, one of the little islands over here, Tawi Tawi. He's going to take that. Now he's attacking Port Moresby again. That time we hold on. Ground combat. Oh, this was just, I was going to say, that didn't make sense to me. We were just bombarding there. As he went back to catch his breath, we just lobbed some shells his way. Now we expand fortifications, receive any new units, and that's going to do it for March 9th. We'll be moving on to March 10th. Wow, March 9th was very productive for him. We lost 2 destroyers. Now, those are generally only like 6-point ships. It's not a huge deal, but he also got a lot of territory that time, captured a lot of bases. Going through all of the various steps here. You can see we got 2 new tankers, 3 new tankers, 4 new tankers at Abaddon. The 58th PG, these are fighters, are arriving at Sydney. All right, we did not have anything at that island, which is a potential base, and so he just occupied that. And now we're going to start doing our Coast Watcher searches. All right, once again, a Dutch sub. This time we get in on an AK. Well, hey, what do you know? We finally got something. It says critical damage to this AK. We got a submarine into the side of it. You know, these Dutch subs are about the only subs that can do diddly squat early on. And sure enough, we finally get an AK, the Durban Maru. He did have 2 destroyers in that task force, but hey, finally. We'll take it. We got to really hope the CL Durban does not go down. The light cruiser, uh, its flooding increases. Now it's saying the pumps are going dead. Damage control strapped and flooded. Major flooding aboard the Durban. Oh, and the Leander sunk. Well, I kept giving me warnings about the Durban. Gosh darn it. If we lose those 2, I'll be really upset. I thought, I mean, they didn't have that much flooding damage when they took off for Aden. That would really surprise me. I when I sent them up to Aden, they had 20 to 25% flooding, which is, I mean, a decent amount, but I wanted to get him out of Bombay in case he came back there. Okay, Japanese sub up around Calcutta, and it looks like it hits an AKL, and it did. The Hermod sunk, so we lose a 1 point cargo ship there. All right, these are all of our plane sightings as usual. It's our planes spotting his ships. I guess that's the way I should put it. Yeah, our Catalinas are seeing a lot of Japanese ships. We're saying we see 8 ships near Auckland. I find that hard to believe, but you never know. Okay, this is the group west of Yan'an that's trying to get over here into Lanchao. Now, once they get over here, I may send them up this road and start dealing with this Japanese threat to the north, but they've got a long ways to trek. They take 90 casualties this time. Now into southeastern China, the group just heading down to Fuchao is now going to start taking some bombing. One damaged, and we take 26 casualties. Well, that's not too terrible. All right, 3 Tojos over Wuchao, again sweeping for cap. Up and over Changsha with 11 Oscars. Yep, we've got no cap about there, boys. 25 Sallies on this group east of Yan'an. I just split these two up. I'm having one go to the east, one go to the west. At one point, he was threatening to have us surrounded, so I just scattered them. We take 92 casualties there. Okay, these Sonias are going to try to attack this group that's trying to get back across the river. We damage one plane. We take no casualties on the ground because there are thunderstorms, which is about the only thing that's stopping his bombing campaign is when it's bad weather. Okay, nothing doing there. Now these are our troops spotting his planes. I hope there aren't 10 Japanese ships near Seattle. That would really be the headline of this turn. We're reporting that we hit a PB of his. Now we get those reports from these pilots, and now you see another one reported hit. You can see it right down here. A Japanese LB is reported hit. That's when we're flying naval search and supposedly hitting things. Well, I don't know if we are or we're not. That's what we're being told by our troops. 12 Bettys, 16 Nels hitting Medan now. We take 149 casualties. Ouch. 15 more Nels in there. 86 casualties reported. And again, these are our troops spotting his planes. A lot of this isn't that helpful unless you, because of those, you can tell where his carriers are, which is what's really important. I mean, it is important to know, I guess, if he's got fighters or bombers somewhere, but you have a generally good idea about that on land. But when you're talking about where his carriers might be, That's really important, obviously. Okay, Dutch sub out here. It runs into these three APDs again. Again, those are destroyer transports. They usually don't have much of a load. We've got the same kind of ship, and they can't really carry much. They've only got like a troop load of 500 troops, but they're good for when you're going to be mounting, some kind of invasion. Okay, he's coming after Moresby again. This may do it, and he does
Hello,
get it.
you
So he's now
fighting
captured
orphans of the
Moresby.
Pacific. This
Now
is
our
your
troops will
favorite
have to get out of
enemy,
here.
Orphan
Hopefully they
Anne,
come
at Radio
eastern
Tokyo,
to
with
our flank.
music to lift your spirits and words
We had a
to
base force
depress
surrender.
your
No, he goes
morale.
up this way.
But
So we're
first,
going to have to take it up
Imperial
to this
General
base to
Headquarters
get a
announced
whole
today
upload.
that the
Let's go
ever
and look and see what
victorious
happened
forces
here.
of the
He took
Japanese Empire
298
have captured
casualties. We
Port
took nearly
Moresby.
3,000 casualties. Uh, a big part of that was that base force surrendering. But he is now taken Port Moresby, so things are really going to heat up. Now, it took him till March 10th. Look, historically, the Japanese never took Port Moresby. That being said, in a game like this, when you're playing a good Japanese player, since they're going to congregate their carriers and bring, mass force to places, you're almost always going to lose Moresby, but it's got to stop right there. That's essentially as far as you can let him go. If he can get on the mainland of Australia, you're in deep, deep doo doo, as the kids say. Um, but he's now taken Port Moresby and he's about to take Palembang. All right, and that's going to do it for March 10th. We're going to see what forts have expanded, what airfields have expanded, and what other new ships we got. Now, we just got those tankers into Abaddon. Those are always welcome, of course. I've been diverting some of the tankers to the East Coast Cape Town route. Well, there's the CV Hornet. Well, that's always exciting. We just got a new carrier, so that of course, that's exciting. We're getting some new squadrons of planes that are coming in. 35th RAF, 36th RAF squadron, a lot of new planes in Australia, just in time as Moresby falls. We definitely needed that. Well, all in all, that was not our best turn. Certainly, we did get into a couple of things. I mean, we reported like three different ships hit through our naval searches. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. We also had a torpedo that we got into the side of a cargo ship. Those have kind of been few and far between for us, which is surprising. We lost a few destroyers this turn, actually got the jump on a submarine, and it ended up sinking our destroyer. We also lost a light cruiser that I was trying to get up to Aden, and that one really peeves me. But when we come back, we're going to go look and see where we stand now that Port Moresby, that is, has fallen. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. We'll set it up for, I guess it'll be March 11th when we come back. Have a great one. Strategy Gaming Dojo. I'll talk to you later.